better? Okay. There we go. Ooh, that looks like it's really sensitive. Hold on. Let me see if I can turn that down at all. You should be able to hear me now, I think. At least it's saying that you can hear me now. Speaking of here, I'm going to pause this. Or I'm going to turn it down a bit. I'm not going to turn it all the way off. But welcome to the first, well, second, third? I don't know how many times I've done this, but, welcome to the not that often Shandel yapping stream. The reason that this is what I decided to do today, there's a couple. There are a couple of reasons that we decided to do it this way today. The primary one of which is I am currently no longer at the place that I am normally at, which means I'm not using my fancy new supercomputer. We are back to the old reliable laptop that has carried me through the entirety of my streaming journey. Now, this is not a bad thing. This is not me saying, oh, I can't even bring myself to play a video game on a weaker machine. No, I actually think that this laptop is still comparable. Comparable in its pure power to my desk. Well, okay, not comparable. It has a lot of good stuff in it. Should have gotten a laptop. So I already had a laptop. I have a very good laptop. This laptop's awesome. I just have been wanting to get a computer that didn't move more frequently. Hold on. Tangent. Reasons that I got desktop, yes. What was I saying? Right. One of the reasons that I decided to do a chatting stream today was because we're on the laptop and I wanted to try something different. I've been thinking about doing this for a bit. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to do it. Also, I had been wanting to do something different on Monday specifically, but like at the beginning of the week. I have a plan for what to do with like this, me not necessarily playing a game part of the day, week, whatever you want to call it. But if I can, I cannot focus at all. It's this music. This music is driving me crazy. Yeah, but today I was like, you know what? Let's make some tier lists, maybe play some AMQ. I remembered that it is Christmas season, which is why there's Christmas music. I was like, yeah, let's just hang out for a bit, not do anything particularly important, and also just see if I remember how to use my laptop well. And so far, it seems to be going pretty well. I assume that the quality of the video is slightly lower, but I guess I apologize for that. It's never really bothered me until I knew that I could do better. It's like, there's only so much I can do about any given thing. I do want to see if I can boost the performance of this wonderful machine. But for now, no. Lily says hi. Hi, Lily. But yeah. So, I just went on a wild tangent talking about the who's and the whys of whatever. Let's do something, shall we? I brought some tier lists because I enjoy doing that, as my opinion is, of course, objectively correct, and yours, if it is out of alignment with mine, is also incorrect, and you should change it. So I have a couple, but I don't know if all of these are relevant. I have one that's actually really cool, and I'm going to do regardless. It's like not old, just animated Disney movies. And it has a lot of cool ones. It has The Sword and the Stone on it, which is how I knew this was going to be a very interesting one, because it's got old stuff on here. I've got a Star Wars movie one. There are apparently only 11 of these, which makes sense, but feels weird. Because it's like, oh, you know, when you think of Star Wars, you think, oh, Star Wars, the gigantic, eternal thing that has all the stuff. But yeah, no, there's just 11 movies, which is fine. And I know that I think neither of you two have seen Star Wars, which is like, you know, we'll fix that eventually. My hands are cold. But I was like, you know, I can talk about this thing. I have a Transformers Prime one. I don't even know if we're gonna do that one, but I saw it. I was like, oh, I love that show, so maybe we'll do that. I'm trying to decide which one to start with. Probably the Disney one. I think we're gonna start with the Disney one. But yeah, this is probably gonna be a little bit of a shorter stream. I say shorter, like, you know, in 2+ hours. I haven't seen Star Wars because I prefer to be awake when I watch TV. Well, then just wake up and watch Star Wars. I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you, kiddo. Seems like the issue is within thyself. Lily reacted to me saying hi. Aw, that makes me feel really nice. Can I scoot this over? No? Okay, whatever. Oh, well, that's why I brought this down with me. I'm like, how do I see the thing and also have this sitting next to me? That's how. I just used the machine that I brought with me for that specific purpose. I got back from, you know, my time at, I don't remember what I was calling it. I think I called it Chandeliering University, which is funny. But I got back from there a couple days ago. Well, I think like 3 days ago now. And I've immediately, instead of refusing to do anything like I told myself I was going to do, took on a handful of small, variegated tasks and projects, because that's just what I do. Instead of letting myself rest, you know, like a like a nerd. What just happened? Why does it say a timeout occurred? That would be very upsetting if that's an issue. Oh no. Has something happened? No, it looks fine. I guess that's just the website. Anyway, back to trying to, hold on, let me, currently just trying to get chat to move over. Haven't seen Star Wars. Panda laughed, and then Usagi did not comment on my objectively correct statement. Gotcha. Here we go. Manager. I'm trying to bring the stream manager up in my smart not phone. I don't know why I can't just say iPad. For some reason, I have it in my head that iPad is like, oh, you're showing your privilege or something. I don't know, man. It's a weird neurosis that has crept into my mind. But yeah, most of the time, I'm using an iPad to watch my chat because I don't have multiple monitors, as I am not famously wealthy. You know, and I know that might come as a shock to some of you, as I've performed very well doing my rich gangsta persona, but I'm actually not infinite money glitch. That's not even a word. That doesn't mean anything. Okay, we're gonna do the Disney movie one first. I'm going to have that just hovering next to me, and it should work if I show you all. Just have to push this button. Where is it? Aha! There we go. Yeah. I can just raise this up a bit. Yeah, it's a little large. There are a lot. So many things on here. Anyway, you know, obviously we've got S, A, B, C, and D. We're going to start with, honestly, a GOAT. One of my favorite movies, Mulan. Now, I would put Mulan in S tier. And I'm going to, but I'm probably going to end up moving this down to A tier, because on an objective scale, it's very good, but, you know, it's not perfect. It's, you know, that's kind of the end of that particular thought. It's great, not perfect, but, you know, what is perfect, truly? Nothing. And since most things aren't Mulan, that also means they aren't perfect. Have you guys seen Mulan, by the way? This is a question that I should probably ask. I know Mulan's a bit older, but I feel like most people are at least aware of Mulan. Excuse me. Burping up a storm. But yeah, if you have seen Mulan, then you should know that it is objectively perfect. But you know, it's great. I like Mulan a lot, is basically what I'm saying. Next up, we have Aladdin. I haven't seen Aladdin in a long time, but I know it's good. I think it's okay to leave Aladdin in A. Toy Story is a Pixar movie, so we're not moving that. Chicken Little. I think Chicken Little is a straight Disney movie. I like Chicken Little a lot. It's actually funny. I have a friend who hates this movie. I don't know why. He just hates it with a burning passion, and that makes me want to put it in S tier. It is not S tier. I'll leave it in B tier, but I love this movie so much. So if you haven't seen Chicken Little, basically, there's this thing that Disney used to do. Well, not used to do, but there's this thing that Disney did, I think, twice. I can't think of a third time that they did this. So, how dare I? What do you mean, Parstug? How dare I? How dare I what? Chicken Little is S tier. You know what? You're right. Chicken Little is S tier. How dare I? Yeah, there's this thing that Disney used to do where it would take, because you know Disney does the thing where it takes fairy tales and turns them into movies and stuff, or did back when they were good. So twice Disney did a thing where they took a story and they reimagined it, like kind of completely from the ground up. Chicken Little is basically a fairy tale, so like that's, you know, not really a big change. The other movie they did this with was based off of a novel. There she is. Treasure Planet is based off of Treasure Island by, I believe it's Jules Verne. This is one of the best movies Disney has ever made. It's both just a good story, just a great, I think the general genre is like kind of coming of age adventure story, but it's also just awesome and I love it. It's just such a cool vision of the world, where it's like, you know, it's boats but in space. I kid you not, I've never seen another person do this. I've seen, you know, oh, flying pirate ships, wow, but like no one has ever taken the logical leap of flying pirate ships but in space. This movie did that, and it is one of the best things ever. Like, truthfully, I don't care how cool your sci-fi universe is, you can have the single coolest sci-fi universe in the entirety of the world. Like, one of my favorites, Star Wars. I love Star Wars. Star Wars is great, has a really cool vision of, like, you know, sci-fi future and stuff. It is not cooler than Treasure Planet simply because their boats do not have sails, and it's just really cool. I could talk about Treasure Planet for hours, but we're not going to do that right now. Little Mermaid better be S tier. We got beef. This entire list is going to get reshuffled a bit, but don't worry. Little Mermaid's very good. Meet the Robinsons. I think I'm okay putting Meet the Robinsons just in A tier, because I really like this movie, but I don't remember it very well. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen this. Actually, no. This is another S tier movie, and here's why. This is one of the most, like, this is one of the best children's movies I've ever seen, and here's what I mean by that. Children's movies, typically, you want to have, like, some kind of, like, lesson or moral in them, right? This movie genuinely always makes me cry. Exactly. It's so good. Like, one of the things this movie did for me, like, when I was a kid growing up, was, like, this movie kind of, it didn't teach me that it was okay to fail, but, like, this was one of very few times in my life where that was a thing that I was told. Like, it's okay to fail, and failing means you learn and stuff. I genuinely think about the scene kind of towards the beginning of the movie where, you know, he's gone to the future, he's with them. I think he, like, tried to fix something and it exploded. And then he, like, starts breaking down because he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I failed, it didn't work. And then they all just, like, start cheering because, like, you failed and it was awesome. And then he's like, wait, what the heck? I didn't do the thing. They're like, yeah, that's the point, which means you learned something. It's such a good movie. I can't believe I even thought about not putting, my apologies. That's an S tier film. All right, what's next? We got Emperor's New Groove. There's no conversation. This is an S tier movie. Simply not. Okay, if you think this is not an S tier movie, I'm gonna ask you a question. Which of these other movies on this list has the characters of Yzma and Kronk? None of them? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're just wrong. This is an S tier movie. Everything about this movie is great. The one flaw in this film is the fact that it was supposed to be a full musical, and then they didn't end up doing that because they didn't think it was going to do well. This movie's great. This movie is perfect, and I will hear no arguments. Moving on. Little Mermaid. I like Little Mermaid a lot. But S tier's getting a little crowded. So I think we might have it hang out in A tier until we reshuffle. I like it a lot, but it's not like... When I think of, okay, Disney movies that are like, wow, this is the best thing ever. It's not that I don't think of Little Mermaid, but like Little Mermaid is not the first thing that comes to mind. Like, Little Mermaid, basically, it's one of the Disney films that basically just does the fairy tale that it's based off of. Just kind of straight up and down with, you know, the softened edges that Disney does. Like, she doesn't die at the end. Or become an angel and stuff. I actually really dislike the end of Little Mermaid's actual fairy tale, because it's like, I don't know. It's supposed to be, I think, uplifting because she becomes an angel who has to preside over the birth of children, and like every time a good child is born, she gets closer to heaven, and every time a sad child or a bad child is born, she like is put farther back, waiting in purgatory. She's like in purgatory. And Little Mermaid's music though is really good. Okay, S tier's getting crowded, but maybe Disney just used to make straight bangers. Like, the music in this movie is so good. Sebastian is just such a great sidekick. Flounder's fun. And like, they have Under the Sea. And between the two, Under the Sea and Be Our Guest, Under the Sea is just a better song. It's my favorite Disney movie, and I understand that. It's a great movie. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna leave that there until we go back through. Hercules. I'm okay putting Hercules in A, and here's why. I'm not gonna move it above A. Hercules is really good, but it's also like really kind of paint by the numbers almost. So the cool thing about Hercules is that it is a kind of a boxing movie, almost. Like it's basically like, you know, a modern day up and coming sports dude or like boxer or whatever, but it's told in ancient Greece. Like, they call Thebes the Big Olive, which I think is both really funny and just like a fun way of doing that. I think Phil is great, but like Hercules, they completely deviate from the original myth, which understandable. Kind of hard to make that family friendly. It's got, you know, it's got Go the Distance. It's got all the stuff, but like its whole package is great, but I don't think it's greater than the sum of its parts. Like, Chicken Little has this really cool, like, just first off, great aesthetic. I like Chicken Little's like world building so much. The music is really fun. It's just like goofy, doesn't take itself too seriously, but it does take the serious parts of itself very seriously. This story about like this kid and his dad trying to connect. It's awesome. Treasure Planet's this like coming of age story where this guy or this kid who's like, you know, basically felt abandoned his entire life, goes on this adventure to find treasure, and also, you know, finds the greatest treasure of all, which is his ability to believe in himself and connect with people around him and stuff. Meet the Robinsons. We don't even need to talk. Meet the Robinsons is just great. Emperor's New Groove is Emperor's New Groove. Like, all of these things up here, basically what I'm saying, are like, they come together to something like bigger than what they are. Like, have I read the original story of Mulan? I don't think I have. Which is funny, because there was a point where like I was really very focused on doing that. I think I did read a little bit about Mulan, but not like the actual story. But like Mulan is another like greater than the sum of its parts things in my opinion, because it's like, it is so, well, you ruined my groove. Exactly! It's just so good. When I listen to Disney music, I thought about doing like a song tier list of a thing. And there is one that I might do of the epic soundtrack, but we couldn't listen to the entire songs, and I just don't want to fight. I'm not gonna fight with Disney. But, oh my gosh. Emperor's New Groove is just kind of, it's so good. But yeah, Mulan is kind of Treasure Planet, but in feudal China for girls, which is really really cool. Because like she steps up, does all the things. It does. This is something I have to like look back on because it's mostly about being different and being okay with that, which is not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. But I feel like that tends to be a lot of the ones that I've seen, a lot of the like coming of age stories aimed at girls tend to be like, oh, you're different and that's okay, as opposed to stuff like Treasure Planet where it's like it's not necessarily about how different he is than other people, it's about like coming into himself. I don't know. That's something that I definitely have to think about. Anyway, Mulan is great. Mulan is awesome and one of my favorite movies. I was actually very surprised to learn that a lot of people don't like Mulan. I don't know why that would be. It's so good. And I think it has one of the better sequels as well. And this is still within the realm of Disney sequels, but like it has such a good sequel, I think. I remember liking the sequel a lot. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Hunchback of Notre Dame, I've actually only seen once. It has probably at least top 5, maybe the best villain song in all of Disney. I can't think of a better one right now. I might be wrong. But like, Hellfire is just such a good villain song. The rest of the movie is great. I like this movie. I don't think I'm bringing it... I think it's okay to make that our first B tier. I might be wrong. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know. It feels like in its effort to sand off a lot of the edges of the story of Hunchback of Notre Dame, it kind of became too much of a kid's movie. Like, I don't think that a kid's movie can't be... Oh, let me scoot this up. Ah! Not the wall. What just happened? I don't know what just happened. I'm gonna stop touching things. Became too much of a kid's movie in that, like, it's just so safe feeling. Like, think about the beginning of Hunchback of Notre Dame. He literally, like, kills a woman. The villain. He, like, kills someone, and then he's charged to care for her child. And then, he cares for her child by locking it in a bell tower. Like, that... The Hunchback of Notre Dame story should be a little bit darker. Should be a little more scary. Because it's confronting very negative aspects of humanity. But I feel like it just got really sanitized. And, like, it still manages to do its things. Like, it still hits a lot of its notes very well. But, it's a lot safer than I think it ought to be. I might move this up to A. We'll come back to Hunchback of Notre Dame. Tarzan is another S tier. Tarzan has the best music. Best music. We love... What's his name? Is it Phil Collins? It's not Phil Collins, is it? Phil... Oh, wait. You can see all of that. We'll look it up later. I think it's Phil Collins? I don't remember what his name is. It's either Phil Collins or something else. But he is just a worldwide treasure. He has such a good voice. And the song... what is it? It's like, I wanna know. Strangers Like Me. It's just so... Tarzan, I think, is underappreciated, but I feel like when people think about it, they put it in the right place. Like, I can't think of a single person who thinks about Tarzan and goes, oh, that wasn't that good. Tarzan is so good. Also, Tarzan gets bonus points for being the first movie to... And I might be wrong, but this is, I think, the first movie where I remember the villain just straight up died on screen in a very his death, they they hid it behind the moment that he died, the camera pivoted away and stuff, but it's the bad guy in Tarzan does not go out in a peaceful way, and it gets so many bonus points for that. That wouldn't raise it above a tier, but I heard You'll Be in My Heart at work once I started singing out loud. Exactly! Just Tarzan's great. We don't even need to talk. Tarzan's awesome. This is Frozen 1, correct? Okay. Frozen 1. I saw, I think the final third or fourth of this movie for the first time in 5 to 7. When did this movie come out? Hold on. Was it 2014? 2014? think it came out in 2014, which would mean that it's been 10 years since the last time I had seen this movie. So Frozen's really, really good. You know, objectively, subjectively, I like this movie a lot. It's awesome. But I saw this movie too much. So it made it hard for me to watch this movie again. I have a really high rewatch tolerance. We watched this movie, me and my family, we watched this movie 3 times in theaters. That is not a thing we did. We barely watched a movie once in theaters because theaters were expensive. We watched this movie 3 times. And then, you know, after that we watched it a bunch more. You know, you hear Let It Go everywhere. The second version of Let It Go is kind of like okay. But Idina Menzel was great. It was the one that the other girl who played the person from Camp Rock, because that's how I have to remember people. She did a version of the song, which is okay, but it wasn't the original, and that's fine. They did that better with Into the Unknown, with the Panic at the Disco version, which was great. But that's the second movie. Anyway, Frozen's really good. I can't tell if it should be an S tier because it's been overplayed for me. But it's at least a high A tier. Honestly, I'm gonna put that at the front of A tier. So yeah, you move down. Thank you. It's great. Atlantis is another movie which is just like underappreciated. Just by a show of hands, how many of y'all have seen Atlantis? I assume only one of you, and I don't even know if he remembers that he's seen it. I assume that my brother has seen this movie. I don't actually know if I watched it with him. I don't remember what the situation was when I watched it. But Atlantis is an S tier, just straight S tier. Similar thing as the Treasure Planet. You have wonderful. So you understand this movie. I don't remember any of the music from it. It's been so long since I've seen this movie. I have as a kid, so I don't remember the plot. Yeah, I mean, so the plot is they're finding Atlantis. Well, they find Atlantis, and then other stuff happens. But like, it's just like the action, like the scenes in this movie are so good. The like imagining of the culture is really cool. The conflict is such a like complex mixture of things. Because like the conflict is okay, so they find the Atlanteans, but like none of the Atlanteans can read their own language. So like, you know, they talk about like how they've been basically undergoing like this cultural weathering. So like each year, a line from this movie that I remember is like, we're like a stone being struck by the waves. Every year, a little more of us is gone or like disappears. It's such a well-designed like conflict. It was so good. Kida was every boy's first crush. I actually didn't really have that. Like, I probably thought she was attractive or whatever, but I don't know. I wasn't weird in that regard. Like, that's just specifically with Kida. I don't remember any of that with watching Atlantis. I also don't remember how old I was when I watched it. So no. That's a side point. But yeah, Atlantis is such a good movie. Atlantis and Treasure Planet are both some of the best things Disney has made, and that was right when they were really wanting to stop doing 2D animation. So they didn't give these movies the right of way that they should have had. These should not be underground Disney movies, but they're farther underground than they should be. I just saw Real Deep Cut. We're gonna get to that one. Brother Bear. I have no real feelings about Brother Bear. I've seen it once, and it was good. I don't know. It didn't really stick out to me. It just didn't. And like, maybe that's not fair. Maybe I should watch it again. I don't know. But like, Brother Bear was very much Brother Bear, and it was fine. It was fine. But you know, it was okay. You know, it was about the brothers and stuff, and I think I remember that story being good, but like, I just can't remember it. Beauty and the Beast. I think A tier. I think it's gonna stay in A tier because I do like it, but it's one of the things I like about this movie is the dynamic, not necessarily of these two characters, but the dynamic they represent. It's been called like the Beauty and the Beast relationship, where it's like, oh, the one character in the pair is like, the super mean and grumpy one, and the other one kind of like softens them. And I love that. I love that. I really like it in Beauty and the Beast, and I like that that's like what the movie's known for. The movie itself is good. It has great music and stuff, but I don't know that elevates it to S tier for me. So I think leaving it in B tier, or in A tier, sorry. A tier, is pretty okay. It's a great movie, did a lot for just movies and stuff moving forward, but I don't think it deserves to be up here, which is like not a bad thing. A is still good. Pocahontas. I don't really know how I feel about Pocahontas. It's at least B tier. It has like great songs, except Just Around the River Bend, which is a song that I don't like Just Around the River Bend, but I don't know if that's Just Around the River Bend's fault. Like, I feel like it just might have been at a point in time where I was just really not into that kind of song for whatever reason. But I don't know. I don't really, thinking about Just Around the River Bend is like, I would rather just listen to Paint with All the Colors of the Wind. Thank you very much. I remember so few of the other songs from that movie. Savages is great. And I think like what the movie was trying to accomplish was really cool, and I think they did strike that chord pretty well. But I don't know that it's above B tier, just because it's still very like, it's not one of the best movies, and that's not a bad thing. It's not bad, so I think it's solid in B tier. I'm gonna put it above Brother Bear. Would I put it above Hunchback of Notre Dame? No, probably not. But like, anyway, it's a solid movie. I don't have a lot of thoughts about it. Now, Home on the Range, on the other hand, probably objectively a B tier movie. I love this movie with all of my heart. For some reason, when I was a small child, I always wanted to see Home on the Range. It's such a deep cut. I actually don't think I knew this was a Disney movie. So I want to put this in A tier. I don't think this should be an A tier. I haven't seen it, but like, it's what I remember of it. Solid. We're gonna leave it in B tier because I don't remember. Oliver and Company I haven't seen. Fantasia, I think I don't actually know if I've seen Fantasia. The Black Cauldron is okay. So I think I'm gonna put the Black Cauldron in C tier. So there's a couple things about the Black Cauldron. First off, I expect none of you to have seen this movie. If you have, I'd be shocked. It's a very, very deep cut adaptation of a book. A book that is part of a series of books, which is great. The books are great. I would highly recommend you read those. It's called the High King Pentology. What's the first book? The Horned King, I believe, is the first book, and then the Black Cauldron is the second book. The movie The Black Cauldron is kind of like mixing together parts from a couple of the books. Like, it takes the second and the first movie primarily, but I don't think Isla Nui shows up until the third book, but I don't remember. I could be wrong. She might show up in the second book at the very least. And then I don't think the little dog creature that you see on like the poster. Can I zoom in? Yeah, I don't think that's actually a character in the book, which is like a reason to put it lower. The movie is very okay. It's not great. I didn't really like it all that much, but I don't know how much of my opinion of it is influenced by the fact that I read the book. The books that it was based off of, and I really liked those. So it's like, meh, it goes to C tier and we'll move on. Fox and the Hound. I think this is an A tier movie. I remember liking this one a lot, but I don't remember a lot of it. Like, that's another deep cut for me. Like, I think I remember more about the No, it's been so long since I've seen Fox and the Hound, so I really don't know where to put it. My impression of it is that it was A tier, but I have no memories of this movie. They're just very, very faint impressions. Zootopia, A tier. I like this movie a lot. I think it did its I think it did its idea very well. Obviously, you know, the ideas that it's putting forward bend a bit if you think about it too literally, but like it's a metaphor, so don't do that. Uh, I think that it's a very well done movie, and I think it handles its like whole, like, you know, obviously it explores a lot of the things around like racism and things like that, and I think it does it like pretty well actually. I also really love the line towards the end of the movie where she goes like, I wanted to make the world a better place, but I think I broke it. And the chief goes, the world's always been broken. That's why we need good cops. I just thought like that's such a great way to communicate that idea to kids and also to adults. Most adults are not mature enough to understand the nuance of that. But yeah, I think Zootopia is very good. I'm solid A tier on that. I think it's great. Aristocats, I have zero memories about this movie. I've definitely seen it at least once. I couldn't tell you a single thing. Nothing aside from like everybody wants to be a cat. That's literally nothing. Moving on. The Rescuers from Down Under. I have seen this movie multiple times. I remember so little of it. I think it's at least B tier. I think it's good, but I just can't remember it at all. The Great Mouse Detective, A tier. The Great Mouse Detective is such a good movie. That's such a good movie that is underappreciated. I love mystery stories. I think they're a lot of fun. The Great Mouse Detective is such a good Sherlock Holmes like riff, and it's just so good. Like the music in it's great. The mystery is actually really cool. It's just great. Everything about this movie is awesome, and like the final confrontation on the clock tower is so good. If you haven't seen Great Mouse Detective, highly recommend. Sleeping Beauty is a straight fantasy fairy tale. I remember very little of it. It's fine. It's solid. I think I'm gonna leave it in C tier. It is kind of carried, I think, by its influence on the Disney Pantheon as opposed to it in and of itself. If the Swan Princess is on here, the Swan Princess is so much better, so you should watch that. Was the Swan Princess a Disney movie? Hold on, that's actually a good question. Hold on. Swan Princess. Who released this movie? I guess we can probably just open the Wikipedia page. Based on the ballet Swan Lake. Released in the United States by Columbia TriStar. So not Disney. So this is not a Disney movie. Which is a shame. Which is a shame because Swan Princess is so good. I love Swan Princess. Yes! Thank you! Oh my gosh. I love this movie so much. Growing up, I was always a sucker for like romance stories. I really liked them for whatever reason. There it is. So I was a big sucker for romance movies. I loved how Swan Princess challenged that, and I was somewhere in the age of like 12. The director was a former Disney animator. Yeah, that's awesome. That actually makes a lot of sense because it has a lot of Disney flair. But I loved all the challenges that Swan Princess brought up. Because, like, you know, they're like, oh, they've been betrothed to be married for years. And then they finally meet. And he goes, arrange the marriage. Because, you know, she's like, awesome. And then she asked the question, what do you love about me? And he's like, well, you're beautiful. And she's like, well, is there anything else? And he's like, what else is there? And that's, like, the crux of the conflict between the two of them. Which was so awesome. I thought it was so good. It was just so good. Like, it was just awesome. I also love I love his advisor. His advisor who went up, he's like, he's like, you know, you're a genius. You should write a book. How to offend women with 4 syllables or less. I think about that a lot more than I probably need to. So yeah, I guess my thoughts on Sleeping Beauty, just watch Swan Princess. It's a better version of a similar story. Sleeping Beauty is good, you know, it's solid, but like you could just read the fairy tale, and I think the fairy tale is more interesting just because it's the original. I don't actually know. Sleeping Beauty's solid. It is the quintessential prince has to free princess from evil sorceress. My apologies, Maleficent. We love you. But like, if you want milk toast, not milk toast. If you want saltine crackers, watch Sleeping Beauty, but you will get saltine crackers and the cheese if you watch Swan Princess. Swan Princess is a full meal. It's great. Sleeping Beauty made me think of Swan Princess. That should be that should be the thing. Robin Hood, straight to S tier. This is my favorite depiction of Robin Hood. Second favorite. No, my favorite actually. But I really love the goofy 2015 one. Just because of the scene in the beginning where they're acting like modern day soldiers with bows, because it's just so funny. Robin Hood, straight to S tier. If anyone has any questions, I will be happy to answer them. But until such a time as anyone is curious as to why that went straight to S tier, trust me, it's wonderful. It's such a good movie. What do we got next? Jungle Book. Not S tier. I like Jungle Book a lot. Jungle Book's not S tier. Maybe B. Maybe low A, high B. I like Jungle Book. But like, I don't think I like Jungle Book on a craft level. And this is something that's important. We get caught up in like rating things and like, oh, you should never watch a 6 out of 10 over like something that's higher rated. That's not true. I would highly recommend people watch The Jungle Book because it's fun. It's a fun, goofy movie with a lot of fun music. Characters are great and stuff. I think the movie as a whole package is like, it's solid, but like, it's just fun. And like, we should be able to have fun with things. Watch something that people say isn't great. Do it. You'll probably end up having fun. Or it'll be bad and you'll have fun watching a bad movie. There's nothing wrong with that. And all that being said, I think Jungle Book might be a C tier. Okay, it's the highest C tier we have, so it's going above The Black Cauldron, which I think... No, I'm putting The Black Cauldron above Sleeping Beauty because it's interesting, but I do not like The Black Cauldron. The Black Cauldron is just... It's a bad adaptation, which is not fair to it, because all adaptations around this point in time were just not good. But I also just think that the movie itself was very okay. It was, it's another farm boy becomes hero and has to go... There was no princess this time. Isla Nui, you see the girl there? She was not like the princess he had to go save. He met her, and she helped him do things. And in the books, it's great. In the book, she's awesome. Always recommend film regardless of critics and movies saying bad. Yeah, exactly. Agree that it's C tier? Yeah, like, again, Jungle Book's awesome, but, like, it's awesome and fun, and that's all it is. So C tier. Did I just put one up? Did I just put another thing up here and forget? Or we were still talking about that, yeah. I have seen Rescuers. I do not remember Rescuers at all. So I'm not going to put it up. I remember the Down Under a bit. I really love the scene in the beginning where he's like taking her out to, the restaurant to propose and stuff. I thought that was great. I love them both. I think oh no, I do remember this movie. They're rescuing the girl from like the orphanage or wherever she's at, like her cruel aunt or something. She's okay. All right, memories unlocked. I can't remember either of their names. I love the girl mouse. She's awesome. I remember thinking that she was so cool and just so fun, and I liked her a lot. And I think this was the point. I think the guy, he was like a really well done kind of everyman type character. Like, you could very much project your own fears and insecurities onto him. And then, he overcomes things and they do the stuff. And I think it's really good. I like this movie a lot. I think it's another B tier. I haven't seen either of these two in so long, so grain of salt, but great. Sword in the Stone is straight to A tier. I love this movie so much. I don't know if I should put it in S tier. I kind of want to, but I love it. It's just such a fun movie. That's another movie, kind of like Jungle Book, where like the primary thing about it is that it's really fun. But Sword in the Stone has a lot more to take from it. Like, it'll teach you some things. it will, you'll walk away from Sword in the Stone having gained something, whereas Jungle Book, you don't lose anything watching Jungle Book. But I don't know if that necessarily gives you anything, and it's been a while since I've seen it, so maybe that's unfair. Sword in the Stone, A tier. Just, mwah. I love it. For no other reason, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it just to see Merlin. But yeah, this is one of my favorite versions of King Arthur's Legend. Disney used to make straight bangers, and this is one of their straight bangers. Snow White, I think, is better than Sleeping Beauty. It's another one that's been a while since I've seen, so I'm going to... All right, what do I remember about Snow White? Not a ton. So I think it's going to go with Sleeping Beauty in C tier. I think it's better than Sleeping Beauty, but I think that's just because its fairy tale is better. Not necessarily because it's a better execution, excuse me. They're both highly competent films. The Evil Queen, I think, is a better villain, maybe, than... Is that true? I'm not going to say that. Snow White's great. The movie is a very solid fairy tale movie. You can't go wrong with either of these. Snow White does not make me think of Swan Princess because they're very different vibes. But yeah, no, Snow White's great, but I don't think it's necessarily all of that. What else we got here? 101 Dalmatians. This is a good one. This is a very good movie. I just realized that it's taken a lot longer. I don't need all these other tier lists up here, which is great. I'm still probably gonna push for one more, but we'll see. 101 Dalmatians is a great movie. I'm trying to think of where to put this. Maybe B tier? Maybe B tier. I think B tier. This is a solid B tier movie. I like this movie a lot. It's better than everything else in B tier. With the exception of maybe Rescuers, but I can't really give those points because I can't remember enough of them. Wreck-It Ralph is an A tier movie. It's such a good movie, such a great break from the typical formula of like things, or maybe just a different execution. I don't know. It's been a while. But Wreck-It Ralph is great. So what Disney did, they really wanted to move away from 2D and into CG because it was more cost effective. So they just like kind of concentrated a lot of really good movies into their first batch of CGs. Wreck-It Ralph is one of these. Wreck-It Ralph is such a good movie. Wreck-It Ralph is such a great movie. If you haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph, you should go watch Wreck-It Ralph. It's been so long since I've seen Winnie the Pooh. I think that's another C tier, maybe B tier. This is another, like... This is the original... I was about to say the original Coco Melon. That's insane. This is a movie that you give to a kid, and it's fun. It's a fun movie. You definitely do walk away with stuff, because it's got a bunch of like little lessons and things. It's an adaptation of what I believe was a couple of children's books. I could be wrong on that. I do not remember. I might raise it up to B tier. Will I raise it up to B tier? I don't know. I'm gonna raise it up to B tier because this is like a classic. This is a classic movie. Like, you genuinely, I think you walk away from Winnie the Pooh a little bit better than you were going in. Oh wait, is this Holy Night? This is a Holy Night. This is great. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh's great. Lady and the Tramp. I don't remember a lot of Lady and the Tramp. I actually don't know if I've seen all of Lady and the Tramp, to be completely honest. It's not, if I remember correctly, anything you won't expect going in. Which is not a bad thing. Again, not being surprising is not a bad thing. Like, we need things to be what they look like, so that the things that are different matter. Lady and the Tramp is, the highborn woman comes down to the rough part of town and meets a nice, rough-looking boy who takes care of her, and they come together over the difference in their worlds and stuff. It's not Romeo and Juliet, it's the other one, which is... I don't remember what you call the one where one of them... Specifically the woman. Because, like, there's a lot of, like, oh, rich guy, poor girl and stuff. But I don't know. There's some movie or book or something where it's like, it's a rich lady who meets a poorer guy. that's like trying to remind me that it was the template. I don't even know if I've seen it, but I feel like I've heard of it. I don't know what to do about Lady and the Tramp. I'll be completely honest. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do with Cinderella. Cinderella, the movie itself, is at least B tier. It is probably the best of the straight fantasy retellings. It's just really, really good. However, if we take Cinderella and then we add its sequels to it, and we take the entire franchise as a whole, this is one of the best movies Disney has ever made. I am specifically talking about Cinderella 3. Cinderella 3 is so good. Cinderella 3 is the kind of movie that will fly under the radar because of, its packaging. Like this is like the one of my okay, hold on. Let me tell a story real quick. One of the things that I find to be like the most sad in all of the world is there are so many things which are like awesome. So many ideas which would change the face of the world, so many like works of art that will never be seen by more than 5 people, so many stories that have been told which, would alter reality, but they'll either never be heard by most people or the people who hear, like the person who tells it will never tell it outside of themselves. Cinderella 3 is that kind of thing. It's completely under the radar. It's a Disney sequel. No one cares about Disney sequels. But for some reason, whoever was in charge, whoever was in the writing room for Cinderella 3, and then whoever took over the direction of Cinderella 3, and the animators of Cinderella 3, and the musicians for Cinderella 3, and the voice actors, and just everyone cooked so hard on Cinderella 3 that, like, if Cinderella was a 2 out of 10 movie, it is made an 8 out of 10 just because Cinderella 1 gives you the context you need for Cinderella 3. And even then, you could just watch Cinderella 3 by itself, and it's such a good movie. So, Cinderella by itself, it's great. At least high B. Taken in conjunction with the fact that it enabled Cinderella 3 to be a thing, it goes into S tier. And I'm okay with that. Pinocchio, I actually haven't seen Pinocchio. I know a lot about Pinocchio as a concept, and I've seen like bits and pieces, but I haven't seen the movie, so I can't rate it, despite the fact that I want to put it in B tier, which is fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're gonna leave it down among the things that are either not Disney or I haven't seen. Bambi, I can't rate Bambi because it has been so long since I've seen Bambi. From what I remember, maybe B tier. But, I'll put Bambi in B tier. I think I'm okay with that. I think I remember enough of Bambi to put it in B tier. But yeah, I don't remember the majority of B tier. Or the majority of Bambi. Peter Pan. I like Peter Pan a lot. I think Peter Pan might be another C tier on an objective standpoint. And I will not do but Peter Pan created the Tinkerbell franchise. Because, like, the Tinkerbell franchise should just get its own thing. Like, okay, whatever. Lump Cinderella 3 in with Cinderella 1 and Cinderella 2, which is kind of whatever. Cinderella 2 is not bad. It just doesn't matter. I think it's like 2 short films. One which is about Drizella, and the other... I don't even know what the other one is. The other one just wasn't... It's like 2 40-minute things. Drizella marries the baker, and that's really sweet. And I do not remember the other thing. So yeah, whatever. But yeah, Peter Pan creating the Tinkerbell franchise, which is great, and I love. I can't credit Peter Pan with that too much. But Peter Pan is a lot of fun. Peter Pan, here's why Peter Pan goes into B. Peter Pan is such a whimsical film, and I think we need more whimsy in the world. Peter Pan does whimsy really good. I like it a lot. I think it's very fun, and we can move on. I haven't seen Dumbo in a very long time. I have a very positive memory of Dumbo. I watched Dumbo when I was like way too... I watched Dumbo when I believed the lies the crow told because it was the words that came out of his mouth, which means I was very young. I don't remember how old I was, but I was very, very young. There's a lot of stuff in Dumbo. Well, there's one thing in Dumbo that apparently isn't great. Peter Pan has that too, but I don't know. My memories of how it goes in Peter Pan aren't nearly as bad as how it was explained to me that what happened in Dumbo. I can't rate Dumbo because I don't remember it, but Dumbo might not be as good as I remember it. Alice in Wonderland. I feel like I saw this not super long ago. No, what I did was I read the book because I was taking at the university. I was taking a class on children's literature, so we read Alice in Wonderland. Did we also read Through the Looking Glass? No, or maybe we did. Maybe they were both together. I don't remember. Yeah, I read Alice in Wonderland, and it was actually a lot of fun. I think I struggled a bit while I was reading it because it was so confusing. But like, I got to the end, and I was like, oh, that was like just fun. That was just like whimsical literature. I'll give Alice in Wonderland a B. That's a lot of fun. What else do we have? We've got Fantasia, which I haven't seen. Ichabod and Mr. Toad, which I also have not seen. Oh, here we go. We've got some hitters down here. We have Big Hero 6. That's an A tier. Is A tier high enough for Big Hero 6? Big Hero 6 is a great movie about grief. Do I raise that? No, I think we leave it at A tier. But this is a good movie. This is a very good movie that tackles a very difficult subject. Tangled, S tier. I love Tangled with my heart and soul. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the characters in it. I couldn't tell you why. I do think it's a very good movie. But like, beyond it just being a very good movie, it has such a weird grip on me and my imagination. And I don't know why, but it's great. I love it. I love it so much that there was a whole series that they put out that I watched. I bought the What If book. I actually finished reading the What If book not super long ago. It was like a couple months, sometime in the summer. Tangled is just one of my favorite things. That's one of my favorite songs. I love I See the Light so much. Oh, you've redeemed hydrate, so I have to stop talking. Thank you. Tangled is just so good. Like, just talking about how good Tangled is like, man, just makes me melt. Tangled is just such a good movie. And it has probably my favorite couple song, or my favorite, like, romance song that I can think of. Let's go down the list of these, actually. Romance song. There's not one in Mulan. There's not one in Treasure Planet or Atlantis. None of those matter. Prince Eric was actually cool. Okay, so I did like Prince Eric in Little Mermaid. Which is, you know, ironic because this is also really funny. A lot of the male, like the princes in the Disney movies and stuff, just kind of don't have personalities because they don't need to. Little Mermaid avoids this. Prince Eric actually both has a personality, and I remember it very fondly. The prince in Cinderella, he gets a personality in Cinderella 3, and it's awesome. I do not think he has one in Cinderella 1, which is fine. Obviously, we all love Flynn Rider here. Eugene Fitzherbert, you know, Eugene Nation stand. Maid Marian and Robin Hood from Robin Hood. It's just so nice. It's, you know, the classic, I don't think she's a noblewoman. She might be like I actually don't know what she is. I assumed she was like a nun when I was younger. I don't know anymore. She might be like the daughter or the niece of like the prince or something. Anyway, Highborn and the Criminal, which is it's a fun dynamic when it's done well, and it's done well in that. Tarzan and Jane, oh boy, do they both have personalities, and are they great. The Beast and Beauty's song, which is Tale as Old as Time, is great. It's not better than I See the Light, but it's also a very different type of song, so it's kind of unfair to rate that. A Whole New World is not better than I See the Light. And I'm okay saying that. And if you disagree, you can disagree. I think this is a matter of subjectivity, but A Whole New World, Aladdin, you don't fight with Tangled. You'll lose. But oh my gosh, does Meg's song "I Won't Fall in Love" just hit and crank? It's such a good song, so much good. It's such a good character song too. Like, this is a thing. Every good song is not necessarily always a great character song. I See the Light is a really good song, and it's a good character song for like what's happening. It's a great moment song, but it's not really like, it doesn't give you a ton of insight into them specifically. Like, they're talking about how like, oh, I lived in a tower and this is like the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then, Flynn's like, oh yeah, I've lived alive the entire time, trying to find something, and then I found it here with you. And that's great, but the song doesn't have their personalities in it. That's something Hercules does so well. Every song is just oozing with personality, and that's extra true for I Won't Say I'm in Love. It's also just such a bop. Like, you're probably humming that song right now because I've mentioned it. It's so good. I'm not going to go through all of these because I just realized that would take an eternity, and I don't think there's a ton more anyway. I guess we can go through like a couple more. There's actually no more ones that I see here. So that's fine. We can move on. It's just great. It's just such a good movie. Tangled. So awesome. I love it so much. And I See the Light, I sing to myself a lot. And it's great. Fun and Fancy Free, I believe, is a collection of short films starring Mickey Mouse in various roles of fantasy. And if that is what that is, this is at least A tier. Because it's just awesome. And the Mickey and the Prince and the Pauper, oh my gosh. It's so good. It's better than it needs to be. Some of the old Mickey and Friends movies, or Mickey and Crew movies, are just better than they need to be. Like, the Prince and the Pauper one is the scene where Mickey as the Pauper is saying goodbye to the king as he dies sticks with you. It stuck with me. I've seen that once in my entire life. I saw that when I was like 8 or 7. I'm 23 now, and I remember Mickey saying goodbye, Dad, to this man who was not his father in this like darkened room. It was such a good scene. So we're gonna leave that there, and if I'm wrong on what that is, then whatever. Princess and the Frog. That was, I think this might have been the last Disney princess movie. I don't know what the last Disney princess movie was. They need to bring them back because they're good and they are just a force for awesomeness. That being said, Princess and the Frog, A tier. Potentially S tier. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but this is another one of the ones where they reimagine the story instead of just telling it straight, and they do it so well. Let me pick out a couple. It's like, okay, down here you see Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, straight retellings, not much to report there. They're good, but that's kind of all. Peter Pan, I think, is a little bit of an adaptation of the Peter Pan fairy tale. Pocahontas is a historical event, doesn't really matter. It's also just kind of basically a straight retelling with some salt thrown into the mixture. Hunchback of Notre Dame is really sanded down. Sword in the Stone's a complete, like, they have so much fun with it, but it's just a straight retelling. Hercules, they completely rebuild it from the ground up, but it's still in ancient Greece. Beauty and the Beast is a straight retelling, which is a lot of fun. Then you got like Tangled, which just throws the story out the window and says, okay, princess with long hair and dude who finds her in tower. Okay, run. Robin Hood is just a story. Mulan, it's a lot of fun. But Princess and the Frog does the thing that Treasure Planet does, where like they take it completely out of its time, bring it to some other era, and they just use it to build such a great story. Princess and the Frog is just such a good movie for so many reasons that I'm not going to get all into because I'm going to say things wrong and then they're going to find me. But it's just such a beautiful and wonderful movie, and the music is great. The music, I think, Princess and the Frog is one of like the most different types of musics that Disney has ever done, and it's so good, and they did it so well. It's just such a good movie. What else we got down here? Lion King. We all know Lion King. We all love Lion King. And if you don't love Lion King, you are a traitor and shall be exiled. They should have done more Shakespeare, but Disney. It's, you know, Lion Hamlet, I've been told. I haven't read Hamlet. I have seen The Lion King, and if Hamlet's anything like The Lion King, I'll like Hamlet. Lion King is great. S tier. Bolt. All right. You all need to admit now. Who here has not seen Bolt? I expect most of you haven't seen Bolt because I don't know how popular Bolt was when it came out, and it hasn't gotten a lot of press since it came out, I don't think. But I just need to know who among you are unenlightened. This is such a good movie. Hold on. This is an original movie, completely idea built from the ground up, as far as I'm aware. It's, you know, about an actor dog who thinks he's a superhero, gets separated from his human, and goes on a quest to find her in Hollywood. It's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. Please watch Bolt. Please watch Bolt. Like, if you take nothing else from what I am saying right now, please just watch Bolt. It's so good. S tier. S tier all the way. This is such a good movie, and is underappreciated, and I can't stand it. It's such a good movie. Lilo and Stitch is another straight to S tier. It just directly. All the way to S tier. There's nothing... You cannot tell me that Lilo and Stitch should not be S tier. If you tell me Lilo and Stitch should not be S tier, all that is told me is that you have not seen Lilo and Stitch. Then we've got Moana. I think Moana can go to A. I think Moana can go to A. The issue with Moana is it's kind of just wet Frozen. It has its own identity. It does a lot of its own things. And it's another great example of Disney, you know, kind of taking a culture and building something around it, and not just like the fables of like the Western world and stuff. I like Moana a lot. I think Moana's great. It does take a lot of cues from Frozen, which is kind of not... Like, I don't think it does anything to its detriment, but I feel like if they had tried to go a little stranger, a little harder into, like... A little harder into... I'm gonna say Islander, because I can't remember the actual name of the group of people, and I feel really bad. Samoan. That's the word. Like, harder into Samoan culture. I think it could have been a lot better. But it's very safe. It's very, you know... very palatable. There's not a lot different about it, aside from, like, you know, the type of myth that it's adapting, but it is really, really good. It's really, really good. Really, really good, and I love it. It's just such a great movie. And I love the music in it. The music's great, but, you know, it is not... It's wet Frozen, but it's more than just being wet Frozen, but it suffers a little bit from being wet Frozen. Okay, that's everything that I actually can put on this list. Toy Story, you are a Pixar film. Why are you here? So yeah, this is great. It is now 1:50 almost. I was gonna go until 2. We'll push a little bit more because I want to do one more. I want to do one more. I probably... Am I gonna save this? Yeah, I'll save this. Alright, do I stand by everything I put where it is? Probably. I think I do. I don't see anything that I think is wrong. Yeah, we'll save and download that. I am not going to do that. Okay. Let's do one more. And I'll throw this out to y'all to see which one you want to do. Well, actually, okay, here's a question. So I have one that I want to do, which is just the Star Wars films, but none of you have seen them. And I would love to talk about how these are all really good, and I can absolutely do that without spoiling things. But I don't know if that'll be interesting to the people watching. So, if anyone has any other ideas for things that we could do tier lists for, you know, speak now and forever hold your peace. I do have a Christmas songs one that we could do. What's this one over here? This is just search results, which I'm going to close now. We can close the Disney one. Hey, LP. LP, welcome. Also, you come at a great time. So we just finished the Disney tier list, which I literally just turned off, but it was objectively correct. So now we're deciding what next one to do. We're probably only going to do one more. But, you know, We're trying to figure out what the next one should be. What the next one should be. We have a Christmas song one here. I have a Star Wars film one, just like the movies, the straight up and down movies, which I would love to do, but I don't think most people know what that would be. We have a Transformers Prime character one, which I think we're not gonna do. And then we've got, I'm actually just not gonna do the epic one. But yeah, do you have any other ideas potentially? Let me close out these. If you have any other ideas, you should definitely mention them. I'm just gonna see what categories do they have. Hold on, my backdrop is gonna change real quick while I try to navigate. Categories. What do they got? Argentina? Why does Argentina have a specific category to itself? Whatever. Okay. Ooh, we could do Avatar. We could do Avatar. Oh, I'm gonna throw Avatar over in a new window. Could do anime and manga. I'm just gonna throw that one over there because, you know, why not? Bloons Tower Defense. Chess? I do not know enough about chess to do a chess tier list. Good for you, Danganronpa. Good for you being this high up on the scroll list. We're not going to do Danganronpa because we have people here who don't know everything about Danganronpa. Alright, what happens if I click on the Disney one? Failing my class for not attending a play on a day I was sick? A play? What? Ooh, this is actually probably pretty fun. We'll throw that one over there. Throw that one over there too. Were you attending a theater class? Animation Studios Films. We're not gonna do that. What is the Dungeons and Dragons D&D class list? Which actually might be really funny. I'm actually gonna throw that one up because I think that one will be fun. Is there anything else to do? I don't think there is. Yeah, so we'll move on. You're in theater, yes? Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know, man. You got sick and didn't attend the thing. It clearly sounds like it's your fault. How many characters are in Avatar: The Last Airbender? Can I recognize all of these people? Yes. Yes, I in fact can. So we'll hold that one. It's very difficult to pick an anime tier list because so many of these are just like, oh, what's the most hot anime female character? Clearly should have delayed my sickness. Yes, you should have. I mean, what are you going to do if you get sick and you have to go on stage? I need that to come back. I need my light because my camera cannot see in this light or in this darkness. I honestly don't even know what I would do. Like, what anime tier list even is... How many of these have I actually seen? I don't think I've seen most of the Studio Ghibli films. Haven't seen. I have seen, haven't seen, haven't seen. Yeah, I haven't seen too many of these to do. Like, I still need to watch Grave of the Fireflies. I actually did like The Cat Returns. I haven't seen Pompoko, only yesterday. I didn't know From Up on Poppy Hill was a thing. I so badly want to watch Princess Kaguya. We'll move on from that. All right. Definitely have to talk to my teacher tomorrow. Yeah, you should definitely do that because you shouldn't just get murdered for that. I don't know. What should we do? You know what? We did an entire Disney thing. This is just this is now a Disney stream. Disney villains tier list. Hold on. Shush. Close. We'll leave that open. We're gonna do the couples now. Why? Because I get to decide whatever we do, and no one gave me any other ideas. So what the heck? Oh, that's not Sally. That is the spy from Cars 2. My apologies for almost absolutely going insane. Anyway, let's rank Disney couples. Just because I see them and it's bothering me, we'll do the Toy Story one first. I actually kind of don't have a lot of opinions about Woody and Bo. Like, for the first two movies, she's just kind of the person he's in a relationship with. Then she gets a new personality in Toy Story 4, which isn't bad, but I do dislike when they just kind of hard pivot characters like that. I don't remember much of Toy Story 4, which is kind of upsetting because I didn't dislike it. We're gonna put that as the midline. So like C tier is kind of the base of what I consider to be good. D tier is like pretty okay, but has issues that I don't like. I don't really care about Disney romances, and no opinion on any of these from me. LP, we're gonna teach you something. We're gonna teach you something. We're gonna teach you what a good Disney couple looks like. You know what a good Disney couple looks like? Where is it? Oh, right. Swan Princess isn't a Disney movie. Well, dang. Now that you said that, I'm like, oh, should we do a different one? I don't know. What else do we have? What else do we have? Oh, we could do the villains. We could do the Disney villains. There are a lot of good ones. There are a lot of good Disney villains. Yeah, we can do the Disney villains. All right, I'm just going to close the other ones so I have less clutter. All right. Disney villains. Ooh, straight up first, we have... I forgot his name. I think his name's like Clawhauser or something. He's such a good villain. Such a good villain. Such a well-designed character. He's terrifying, but he's also, like, nice. He's just a full character. All the edges, he's awesome. The governor from Pocahontas, I actually like him a lot. He's not as good as this guy, and I remember less from him because he's from, you know, Pocahontas, a movie I haven't watched a lot of. Chernabog is kind of whatever. I haven't seen Fantasia, to be completely honest. My exposure to Chernabog is from the Kingdom Keepers series. If you do not know what that is, valid. It is a series of books about teenagers who become holograms and warp into the Disney parks at night and do combat with the Disney characters. And Chernabog was like the devil. I don't actually know if he ever ended up coming into being. But yeah, Kingdom Keepers was in a lot of ways like a marketing tool. Like they very clearly showcased a lot of like cool Disney things. I remember liking Kingdom Keepers a lot, but Kingdom Keepers is also the first place where I heard Chernabog's name, which is why he's going into Who, because I don't know who that is. I have no idea who this is either. Judge Frollo, S tier. We love a well-written, insane judge. He's very cool. This guy from Lilo and Stitch, I love him. He's so cool. The guy from Up. I'm upset that I can't remember a lot of these people's names. He goes to A tier. He was a great character. A lot of fun. Ah, my teeth. There are so many of these. My light keeps falling over. How's the stream been, LP? It's been pretty okay. I've kind of just been talking, which is the entire point. Ugh. In the future, if I'm doing streams like these, I want to be like working on some kind of project. So I think that's fun. Is this the Horned King from the Black Cauldron? Huh? There's no shot. I don't know who that is. Talking is the cool. You are correct. Is this the dinosaur from the freaking dinosaur movie? This list has so many things. Okay. You go into D tier because you do not have a personality, but that was the entire point. You're great. I like you a lot. What's his name? Dalton? Dalton's also just a great name. S tier. Oh, the guy from Home on the Range. I don't remember how good of a villain he was, but I remember loving him, so he'll go into C tier. I recognize you, but I don't know from what. So you go to who? I don't even think the dad was an antagonist. Like, he was just a bad dad, but he was trying his hardest. No. What? No. False. Incorrect. Braces girl from Finding Nemo. She was like whatever. She wasn't bad. She wasn't really a force. She was just kind of there. I don't know who this is, and I feel like I should. I don't know who that is. I'm upset. Whatever. The sheriff from Robin Hood. He's great. I don't know who that is. I have not seen the Legend of Sleepy Hollow movie or whatever. I don't know who this is. That's another dinosaur from another dinosaur movie. Oh, this is the dude from The Rescuers. He was really cool. He was really, really cool. He gets to go to, like, B tier or something. This is the girl from the other Rescuers movie, the, like, aunt or whatever. I don't really remember what her deal was. Otto from WALL-E, S tier. If you know, if you do not, if you disagree, that's fine. The sheep from Zootopia, she was okay. I didn't dislike her, but didn't love her. She was like fine. I liked the things that she did more than I liked her specifically. I have no idea who this is. The prince from Robin Hood, he's great, A tier. Mike Yagubian, we love him. Mike Yagubian goes straight to S tier. I'm kind of speeding through this. Ratigan, A tier. We love that. Sherlock Holmes, or not Sherlock Holmes. What was his name? The Great Mouse Detective was great. Ratigan, awesome villain. Captain Hook, iconic, A tier. The guy from Ratatouille, also iconic, also A tier. Cruella de Vil. She's kind of more of like a fixture. Actually, no. What am I doing? A tier. There are so many good Disney villains. Doris, S tier. We love Doris. Was so cool. Dr. Facilier, I don't remember a ton about. We're gonna put him in B tier. The guy from Coco. The guy from Coco is like, I don't really care about him. He's an okay villain. Thinking back on the whole, don't leave, I need you to help me make a music. Then he leaves and he decides to poison the dude. You get to go to C tier. You're like, fine. As a character, I like him. As a villain, it's like, come on, guys, what are we doing? Speaking of the person I was thinking of, Prince Hans of the Southern Isles. F tier. Not because he was a bad character, but because he was a bad villain. Hades. A tier. Icon. Gaston. B tier. He's also an icon. The Grasshopper, whose name was Hopper. S tier. We love him. I actually liked the girl from The Incredibles 2. What was her name? Evelyn Dever? Yeah. Her name was not Evil Endeavor. That can't be. That's upsetting. Whatever. Evelyn Dever, I like her. What else do we got down here? This man is an S tier character, S tier villain, S tier hero, S tier switch, S tier father figure. We love... what was his name? Silverhand? Yeah. He's great. Oh, my legs. Okay, we've only got a few more. I probably shouldn't have done a second one because these tend to take long. Jafar is iconic. We're going to put him in B tier, though. Put him in B tier. King Candy is the only good twist villain I can think of. He's a great one. S tier. Wicked Stepmother. She has a name. I don't remember what it is. She goes to A tier. She's an icon. Teddy. You like crowbars. Yeah, I know, bud. That completely threw off my rhythm. What was I gonna do? What's the bear's name? Lotso. That's his name. Lotso. Smells of strawberries. A tier. He was actually a really good villain for Toy Story 3. Maleficent is... Okay, so Maleficent gets to B tier. I think as a character, she's kind of like one note, but she's very, very good at that one note. Mother Gothel, A tier. Something Disney does really good as its villains. Mother Gothel's great. I don't know who that is. I assume this guy's from Pinocchio. This is okay. So the dude from Nightmare Before Christmas, I think was a good villain. I don't really remember much about him. Evil Queen, iconic. However, she doesn't really do much. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but she's whatever. This guy from Treasure Planet, I think. Well, he's kind of a goon. He's not really anything. He's just kind of like a dude who follows orders and is mean. So I guess C tier because he's just kind of there. He doesn't really make decisions. He doesn't change the plot. I don't know who these are. Those are the Siamese cats from Aristocats, but I haven't seen that movie. The Prospector from Toy Story 2 was pretty cool. What else we got? Randall, A tier. Randall's such a good villain. Randall is a great character, and Monsters Incorporated is a great movie. I think that's a Pixar movie, but it's fine. Khan? What was his name? Was that his name? Khan? I think he was actually pretty good. We'll put him in B tier. Actually, I think he goes to A tier. Seeing this tiger has brought up so many emotions that despite not remembering him very well, he's great. Syndrome. So Syndrome is a B tier villain, but that makes him S tier because that's his entire point. The entire point is that he is a villain built off of pettiness and whatever, and is just kind of a dude who, by the pure inertia of you didn't give me what I want, so I'm going to take it. He's insane. He's a megalomaniac, and as a person, he's a very B tier type villain because like his lofty goal is to kill all the superheroes, not for any particular reason, just because he wants to be the only one. So like it's like you did all this so you could pretend to be one. B tier villain, but that makes him S tier. He's such a well done character. The Evil Queen. I remember so little of her. D tier. She's like, paint by the number. She's great. Yzma, S tier. Yzma, S tier. If you do not know why she is S tier, watch Emperor's New Groove. If you know why she's S tier, watch Emperor's New Groove. This guy from Atlantis. I think A tier. He was pretty cool. Scar. S tier. Scar, S tier. Absolutely. It is not a Disney villains list without Scar. Genghis Khan from Mulan. I think C tier because he's not really a character. He's a force, but he is a really good force. We'll make him B tier. He's at least as good as Maleficent. Ursula, Ursula, poor unfortunate souls in pain, in need. S tier, absolutely S tier. The creepy kid who tortured inanimate objects from Toy Story. C tier. He just makes me uncomfortable. I don't know who this is either. I feel like I should, but I don't. Oh, we love the guy from Big Hero 6. Maybe C tier? Okay, so C tier, but not because he's a bad villain. He doesn't really get the chance to be a better villain. Like, the point of him is not to be a villain, it is to be a target for heroes' emotions. Because Big Hero 6 is about grief. So, like, he's an outlet for heroes' grieving process when it turns dark. And I think that's really good. He's also an example of the grieving process turning dark. Like, he's just great. He's very cool. Moving on. Very cool. He doesn't get a chance to be a better villain, but he doesn't need to be. The Giant from... I think that is from Jack and the Beanstalk. He's whatever. I don't even remember him being particularly malevolent. Madam Mim. I know most of you don't know who this is. She's awesome. A tier. I think that's everything. My light just fell. It's about to die, which is kind of perfect timing because we're right at the end. I don't remember if he was good or not. And I don't really see this guy as a villain, to be completely honest. So... yeah, this one was really hastily put together, and I might shift a couple of these things around on second thought. But that's like a general Disney villains tier list. I just realized you cannot see what I am doing. Let me shift that over real quick. Yeah. Disney villain tier list. It's pretty fun. Definitely room for, like, improvement on it. Maybe we'll do another one of these in the future. But, yeah. This is me kind of field testing to make sure everything still works to stream, and also field testing just not doing a game on Monday. I have a different plan for what we'll do next week, which I think will be fun. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing it, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I guess that's kind of the whole story. You can, no, you can just go away. I guess it's kind of the whole story. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me. This was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing this. I did not see any numbers doing anything, but yeah. This was a very short stream. I do have to go. But this is very, very optimistic, encouraging. That's the word. This is very encouraging for me doing this kind of stream. There are a lot more of these things that I would like to do. I think they'd be fun. If you guys have ideas for what you would like me to just talk about for 1 to 2 hours, you should definitely message me on one of a variety of social media platforms that I do have, all of which are named Chandelarian. Primarily those which would be the Twitter, the Instagram, and I think those are actually the only ones, because nothing else uses messaging anymore. But that's enough talking out of me. I would like to thank you all for coming. Thank you so much for thanking me for streaming. It actually feels really nice. Yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday in the afternoon. We'll be back to doing some Phoenix Wright. And this time, I'm not going to fall asleep because I am not chronically tired anymore. Because I can actually sleep now. It's the benefit of not being at the university. But yeah, we'll hit up Phoenix Wright, and then that will be the same thing for Friday. And then next week, I'm going to try something. Actually, is next week even a week that I'm going to be streaming at all? Oh, okay. So I will probably stream. I might stream on Monday next week. And I think I'll still stream on Friday. Obviously, I will not be streaming on Wednesday. Excuse me. I guess it's not obvious, but I will not be streaming on Wednesday. Because Wednesday is Christmas! Guys! Next week is Christmas! It's Christmas! Okay, that's enough. There's enough shouting out of me. I'm gonna go now. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you have a great rest of your day, or night, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. You know, embrace the cold, sing a Christmas carol, watch... Hold on. What's one of the movies that I need to tell you to watch? Because I did just spend a while doing this tier list. So like, let me just whip it up real fast. Watch Bolt. That's the one. Watch Bolt. Watch Swan Princess. Watch either of those two movies. Not because I told you to, but because you deserve it. Because you deserve to watch a good movie, and those are both great. Okay. No more stalling. Thank you all so much for coming. Have a great rest of your day, night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I will see you all next time. Okay. Bye-bye.